What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. I am your host, Cam Farmer, and the Dallas Mavericks are one win away from their first NBA Finals appearance in 13 years. Close it out. Close it out. Close it out. Win or lose, you still have home court advantage, but you don't want Minnesota to get one. You don't want that to happen. It's the first of four, but I do believe that I do believe that Dallas will close it out on Tuesday night. Luka and Kyrie Irving are the most dominant duo in the NBA. I know we talk about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, Kawhi and PG, LeBron and AD, Giannis and Dame. I know we talk about all these different duos. As I've said before, the Dallas Mavericks won the trade deadline. And when they won the trade deadline, Kyrie and Luka, especially Luka, take away their offensive games. Luka and Kyrie got better on defense. When you have a guy like Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and Derek Lively, who not only can rim protect, but can on-ball defend, they can shift their feet, they can move in the perimeter, they can switch. It's only up from here, bro. It's wraps. Kyrie Irving. Minnesota has no answer for Kyrie Irving. Minnesota has no answer for Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Rudy Gobert. One of the reasons why I hate NBA awards, especially for Defensive Player of the Year, is that these people who vote for the awards just look at defense just as like blocking shots. It is not. It is not just about blocking shots. It's about defending. On-ball perimeter defending. Full court pressing, never giving up on the play. Rudy Gobert is a great rim protector, but he's not a great defender. I'm going to say that again. He is a great rim protector. He is not a great defender. How do I know that? Allow me to take you back to Game 2 in Minnesota when Rudy Gobert switched on to Luka. If for those of you that may have seen, I saw the replay in slow motion. I saw Jaden McDaniels literally make a face like this because he knows that Rudy was going to get beat. Rudy Gobert looked like he was afraid to guard and defend Luka. There are two spots on the basketball court. That are if I'm the defense, if I'm guarding Luka Doncic, I don't want Luka to step foot in these two places. The post and the wing, especially the wing. Because if I'm guarding the post, if I have bodies in the post, that means Luka is just he could just dibble and dally inside the perimeter, not in the paint, but inside the perimeter or outside of the three-point. Luka can score from all four levels, but the wing to me is the most deadliest area on the basketball court if I'm a defender guarding Luka. All Luka's gonna do one of two things. He's either gonna go to the right. Luka can go to the left, but if Luka goes to the right wing and he has a defender like Rudy Gobert or somebody's stature of like Rudy Gobert, that is an easy dub. Just because somebody is tall does not necessarily mean that they play great defense, especially when you lure them out of the paint and the post. Because somebody of Luka's stature is going 9 times out of 10 is either going to make the shot, miss the shot, or miss the shot and go to the line. That's how good Luka Doncic is. Karl-Anthony Towns has become a liability. I mean that with all due respect. There is no reason Karl-Anthony Towns should be 6'11" but have no post game. There is no reason that he should be 7 foot and the majority of his shots come from 3-point, but he can't turn his back against somebody like a Josh Green. He can't back up against somebody like Josh Green. Somebody like no disrespect, but Kyrie Irving, right? Or a Jaden Hardy or a Derrick Jones Jr. The majority of Karl-Anthony's shots have come from 3-point. Karl-Anthony Towns missed 0. He made 0 three-pointers. Karl-Anthony Towns made 0 3-pointers. You went 0 for 9 in game 1. You went 0 for 8 in game 3. You made a couple in game 2. No, my God. Do not, as great as Dallas has played, do not let Minnesota get one. Because what will happen, we will see a rendition of Miami and Boston from last year, when Miami went up 3 games, 3-0 against Boston, and Boston came back and went to a game 7. And I believe that if Jason Tatum doesn't roll his ankle, I believe that Boston wins that game. Neither here nor there. There is no answer for Kyrie and Luka. Luka and Kyrie, man, they're just so gifted at basketball. I'm not even saying that to be funny. But when I actually, for those of you that actually watch basketball, and for those of you that take the time to watch the game, and for those of you that don't, I actually encourage you to watch Luka and Kyrie. They're so gifted. They are the epitome of, they allow the game to come to them. They play at their own pace. Luka is not the fastest point guard in the league, like by any stretch of the matter. He is not the most athletic point guard. But when Luka plays at his own pace, that's when he becomes really, really deadly. But with Kyrie, obviously Kyrie's a lot more faster, a lot more quicker than Luka when it comes to being a playmaker and a facilitator. But when Kyrie and fast break, bro, that's deadlier. My God. So I say all that to say this because I'm gonna wrap this up. If the Mavs win, which they should, and I believe they're going to close it out on Tuesday night. If the Mavericks win this series, you can make a legitimate when they win this series, because I do not see the Minnesota Timberwolves coming back and winning 4 straight. I do not see that happening. Honestly, if you ask me, it's against the laws of physics. I do not see that happening. Maybe if they were down 3-1, they could do that. But 3-0, I don't see that really happening for real. If the Mavericks win, when the Mavericks win this series, you can make a legitimate case for them to beat the Boston Celtics. You really can, because they don't have Porzingis. And honestly, I think even if they did have Porzingis, you can make a legitimate case for Boston to lose the finals. You can, because one thing that I've seen when it comes to Dallas that I really haven't seen with Boston is that Dallas played fully healthy teams. I mean, honestly, if you take away the Clippers, I would consider the Clippers to have been fully healthy, just because, I mean, Kawhi, he played 2 games. But I don't really, it's kind of, now that I look back, it's very hard for me to say that the Clippers would have won against the Mavericks even if they were fully healthy. That's not to say that they couldn't beat the Mavs if they were fully healthy, but it's very hard for me to put this Clippers team against the Mavericks. But I say all that to say this. The Mavericks have played tougher opponents. They played a Clippers team. They played an OKC team who was the number one team in the West. And now they're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who's a top 3 team. The Celtics played teams that really, in my personal opinion, weren't fully healthy. You played a team without Jimmy Butler. You played a Miami Heat team without Jimmy Butler. You played a Cavaliers squad without Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell, and I think they were without Karis LeVert. Now you're playing a team, an Indiana Pacers team, without Tyrese Halliburton, who is significantly questionable for Game 4. So when the Celtics and the Mavericks meet up in the finals, we're really going to see the true testament of the Boston Celtics. Because do not let Dallas get a win at the Garden. Because if they do, it is very, very, very hard to say, well, Boston is still going to win this series. I don't know about that. So and here's the irony about the Pacers and the Timberwolves. They could have won multiple games. The Timberwolves could have won Game 1 and Game 2. They could have won tonight, Game 3. The Pacers could have won. They should have won Game 1. They really weren't going. I don't think they were going to win Game 2, if you ask me. But they should have won game 3 last night. So this isn't a question of at this point, it really isn't a question of, oh, we're just tired. We're not healthy. No. They could have won. Pacers and the Timberwolves could have won multiple games in this series. All it really just comes down to is defense and making your shots. Period. So, this is going to be game 4's pivotal game 4s. Obviously, with a coach like Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks, they know what to expect. It's going to be a tough game in game 4. And the thing with the Mavs and the Timberwolves, the games really haven't been blown out. They weren't blowouts. The Timberwolves haven't lost like in large margins. Like the Timberwolves lost game 1 by 4 points. They lost by 3 points. Timberwolves lost game 2 by 1 point. The Timberwolves lost game 3 by 9. So if you honestly think about it, the Timberwolves just aren't playing defense. Let alone, more specifically, they're not making their shots. It's very, very simple. And I don't want to hear all this talk about, oh well, they could have played. They played the Denver Nuggets. It was a long and mental series. Like it was mentally difficult to beat this team, bro. That's the playoffs. The playoffs are supposed to be mentally tough. That's what the playoffs are for, because you're consistently playing the same team over a 1 to 2 week time frame. Period. So this is an interesting series. I can't wait for the Mavericks and the Celtics to meet up. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm going with Dallas to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, that's the end of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. I can't wait to hop back on here. I've really just been chilling since I left grad school. Just really taking a break. Really taking a break. So yeah, in any case, I'm looking to be consistent. I'm going to be intentional with this. But yeah, in any case, y'all have a great night, a great Sunday night. Stay safe out here. God bless you guys. Love.